So my journey in Forever started quite a few years ago. Like I said, I've been involved with the company now for 15 years. And before that, I used to work like Adam in the city. I was here in London, and I worked for one of the Dutch banks, ABN AMRO. And I thought that it was really nice to be in a corporate environment with a really nice tie and, very English, being a Swede with no degree, by the way. And I thought it was really special to work in the city. And my mother came across Forever, summer of 1998, so now almost 20 years ago. And she came back home and she was starting to share the story, and she said, Magnus, Maddie, look at this great opportunity. It's so amazing. It's going to change our life. And I was like, yeah, right. Yeah, right. Okay, good. So what is it? And she gave me a drink. I was like, are you serious? Is this going to change our life? And it tasted horribly. I mean, it was just, I mean, if you haven't tried it, be prepared. So Mom was saying that, well, you need to use these products, and she came over here, and in fact, she went with Adam and John and Jane and Bob and a few others, Camilla at the time, and of course Natalie Walker and so forth. Quite a few people that was inspiring her to do Forever and bring it back to Scandinavia and to do it in Sweden. Now, Forever was already started in Sweden since a year ago. So she wasn't the first one, but she was the one that really got things going. So she started to talk to her friends. In fact, she spoke to my younger sister's godmother. And she said, you got to try this. And she was really enthusiastic, and she got it to start with the business. And then she found another guy that she really enjoyed being with. It wasn't my father. In fact, they were divorced for quite some years, so it was okay. And she started to talk to lots of people, just being enthusiastic, honestly, pure enthusiasm, without any partial or really nice presentations. She was more of being just with her enthusiasm. She started to collect a few friends and help them to find even more people. And she asked one, and I remember this really well, and she asked one, her name is Anne, and she said, Anne, who do you know? I don't know. I mean, who am I going to talk to? Well, just write a whole long list, and we can talk to them. Whoever you put on the list, we can give them a ring and see if they want to join Forever. And she started to ring, and she's starting to get a lot of phone calls, and most people said no. And I was like, I told you. It's not going to change our life. So I kept working in the city, and I was doing full weeks of 80, sometimes even 100 hours a week, and it was quite tough. And eventually, she got a few people to join, not only Anne and the others. So they all started to join, and she came home one day, and she said, Forever is doing really well, and I've been on stage, and they recognized my work in Forever, and now I have become a Sapphire manager. And I was like, Sapphire what? I don't care. And she got so upset, not only with me, myself, but she got so upset with me and Maddie and Marie. And she said, well, don't you get it? I'm a Sapphire manager. I made it in 2.5 years. Okay. Yeah, all right. I wasn't impressed, but that we all know it's quite impressive to make that achievement in such a short period of time. So she came home, and she wanted to prove to us that she actually made it. So she went to the local bank, SEB, in Stockholm, Narvavägen, and she said, I'd like to take out my bonus check for my last month of income with Forever. And the bank manager said, well, Mrs. Wallenberg, you cannot take out your salary. And she said, why not? Most people take out their salary. Yes, but you don't really want to take it all out. Do you really want it in cash? She said, yes, I want it in cash. Solid, cash. I want it in cash. Fill up my handbag. And it's the last month of her Forever bonus check. So the bank manager got a little bit and had to screw and said, well, you have to come back tomorrow. So she came back the following day and filled up her handbag. She came home, and she brought in the children into the room. And with this smile on, I never forget it, with a smile, and she said, all right, come on in, kids, in the drawing room. And she said, all right, let me show you what Forever has done to us. And she took her handbag, and she took out 20,000 pounds and just, woohoo! And threw it all over the floor. Look at that. Look at that. So that was only 1 month of 20,000 pounds in kroner, 199,000 Swedish kroner. It was amazing. She was the happiest of mothers that one can have. And with all that passion and drive, made us change a little bit, but still being quite negative, to be honest. Did she rob the bank, or how did she get that money? It's quite hard to take in this opportunity because it's so mind-blowing. It's so far away from a regular, previous speaker talking about a £10 an hour, or whatever your salary is for a month or a week and so on per annum. So forever is such a different way of thinking. So it takes time for some to take it all in. And it did for me. And I'm sad that I'm in a way that I didn't take enough time and to be with her because she was struggling for quite a few years before she joined Forever with cancer. And she was striving and really looking for, alternative medicine, and it could have been one of the reasons, I don't really know. And that was the reason why she found Forever, because I guess she thought that aloe vera was going to, cure it. So she was struggling with it for quite a few years, and then 2.5 years in Forever, and then eventually it came back on her, and she got chemo and all that stuff. It's really, really sad, but she didn't make it. So she didn't make it at all. In fact, she passed away on Valentine's Day in 2001. And there we were. I was like, am I being skeptic with Forever? Or it was such a different time in life to, overnight, more or less, losing probably the person that I love most in my entire life. So she left us, and what to do now? And I was looking at Marie and Maddie and said, do you want to do Forever? I said, well, I work in a bank. So why am I? No, all right. So the country manager, Ulf, came to our house, and he said, Magnus, if you don't want to do it, or Maddie or Marie, if you don't want to do it, all you need to do is you do your full case credit, and you're going to pick up that bonus check for the rest of your life. And I said, say that again? How many, what is it, case credit? Right, so basically what you need to do, you place an order, you make sure it's four case credits, not 3.999, because if you do 4, you get your profit, you get your bonus. And I said, what am I going to do with the product? He said, well, drink it. And I said, have you tried it? And of course, a few months passed, and it was quite difficult for all of us. And I realized that Forever was paying the money, even though I didn't do anything apart from placing those 4 case credits. So Rex, here on the picture, is saying to Mom that if anything goes wrong and if you don't make it, your children will inherit whatever you make today. Your children will inherit, whether they are nice children or not nice children. And I mean, if you think about it, how many's got a job when you can go to your boss or the owner of the company, and the owner will say your children, whether they're nice or not, they will receive your salary. If you think about the opportunity that we have with Forever, that you can inherit it, it's a willable business. Make sure you make the most out of it, and you know what I'm thinking, knock on wood. If anything goes wrong, your next of kin will inherit whatever you do with Forever. And you don't need to work with it, but you can. So I had a very difficult time, and I had to make a decision whether I was going to do Forever or not. And I was back and forth, and I actually came here to London. I was at an event, and I saw people with big checks on stage, and yes, impressive, but I was in the back end of the room and didn't really get it. But eventually, time went on, and I attended more and more trainings, and one day I found myself in Rex's chair. So I started as an assistant supervisor, and I had to sponsor and to prove myself to become a manager, which I did in the first 3 months, and then I went senior manager, and then I went onwards, and now I'm a recognized Sapphire manager. Thank you very much. So from not being nice to being nice, I guess. Here are my sisters, Marie and Maddie. Now, they are involved in the business, but as you can see, they've been quite busy with their kids. Hashtag we only got boys. But they're great ambassadors, and I love them to absolute bits. And they got to share a little bit from the Forever business, and all these years has given us, all of us, a great start in life. And not only for us, but also for our mom's grandchildren. Which is just amazing. If you think about the opportunity that goes on from one generation to the next, and even now the third coming up. So the family is now very grateful to, of course, Rex. But the first picture I wanted to show you is this guy. I don't know if you've seen him many times, but this is R.J. Lloyd. Do you know who that is? Well, all of us, we all know Rex, correct? Correct. So Rex founded the company 40 years ago, and then now his son, who's also in the picture, saying hello to RJ. Greg is now taking over the business more and more and more, and Rex is stepping a little bit more to the side and leaving the main responsibility of driving Forever going forward. And you know that, like Bob said early this morning, that Greg's put a big effort in and really driving the company 2 times. He's got a very, very strong vision that he wants to double sales in the next couple of years. And that really puts a lot of questions into my mind. So last year, in fact, at the Eagle Managers Retreat in Greece, I had a long chat with RJ, and I said, look, I've got more of a private question, but I really want to know, because I feel that what happens if Rex is not going to be there one day? Because it's obviously inevitable that at one point in life, you have to step back and he's not going to be around. And RJ responded very, very nice, and he gave me the full layout, and he said that, look, Rex is very wealthy. He's got a lot of companies when it comes to Forever Resorts, Forever Aloe Vera of America, and obviously Forever Living. There's so many different companies. And I know a little bit about taxes and the US and so on, but what he's done is that he made sure that the entire state is put into a trust. So he put all the companies, all the belongings, all the stuff into a trust, so that there's never going to be any arguments between Greg and his family and the rest of the family members, so that it will jeopardize Forever if anything goes wrong. So RJ's done probably one of the things that is most valuable to me, because it gives me the purpose of taking it from my generation to Victor's generation, and RJ made sure that that's going to happen. Thank you. You know, they've been around for a long time, and RJ, if you don't know him, he's been with Rex's side since the very beginning. But there's another person that's been next to Rex, and that is Navas. And Navas has always been so faithful to Forever and to Rex and the family, and keeping it as a family business. And I'm really impressed by this woman. You don't see her much. She's always there, but she's always in the backyard. But she's the power woman behind the scenes, and the person really driving Forever and making sure everything is good. So we're very grateful that we have Navas in the company, and that gives me a lot of at ease that Forever is going to go on forever. Now, of course, there's more guys, and you've seen all the Americans. Come on, you got to get to know these guys. They are the boys. And now, I don't feel like much like a cowboy, but in the picture, I'm sitting here with Aiden O'Hare. Well, Aiden O'Hare, these are cowboys. They live in Phoenix and I don't want to make fun of them, because they are amazing people, but they are also not only people being on stage, but they are, people like us. And when we hang out in the forest and we do our conferences in the middle of nature, because that's what they like to do. So they put us in nature, and we talk about the opportunity, we talk about improvements and how we can drive Forever forward and to reach our goals in certain areas. So Aiden, you've seen a lot on stage, and he's a master, and I hold him so close, because he really inspires me. He inspires me a lot. If you haven't seen him on stage, look at YouTube, Google Aiden O'Hare, And he's just such a funny guy, and I love him to bits. It's very, very good to have him in the company. There are more people behind the scenes that you might haven't met, and that is Ruth. Behind every powerful man, there is a powerful woman. Yes. Yes, women, yes. And guess who's driving there? I mean, Ruth, I was invited to come for lunch, as one do, at Rex's private home. And I was sitting down at their dining table, and I got Ruth sitting next to me, and I was like, gosh, this is quite special, actually, to be having lunch, invited for a small little private lunch in their home. And this is, in fact, inside, and she was talking about lots of things and about the company. But it made me realize how different the core values of Forever, how different they are compared to the corporate world. Compared to all those companies that are driven by a quarterly economy or that always get their reports out that is driving the stock market up and down and up and down and always trying to push for more sales. And since I came from that background, I knew a little bit about it, but I also understand that Forever and Rex and Ruth and the family, they don't see it the same way as most companies do. They don't drive for profit. They think that their biggest assets is what? People. I thought it would be the fields or all the land that they own, but it's the biggest asset is the people. So when I get to know them a little bit more, and particularly in their private home, you realize that it's a true family in a way, and they really don't look just for themselves. They look for the next generation, and so on and so on. They have a vision which is very unique in the world of having a privately owned company of this size. So, hello, Ruth. And of course, it's all about people. So who are the people? Well, you have heard about the GLT, which stands for Global Leadership Team, and here's the group for this last year that qualified, and I'm proudly one of them. But I get to know them too, and the people that are, and you see the top one is 20K, which means 20,000 case credits, which is, extreme amount of case credits. And it's hard to take in, particularly in the early stage of Forever. And even though the group is growing, it's kind of hard to understand how big that actually is. But I can tell you, just to give you a number, if I would have had a yellow bottle in my hand, you think of it that every day you wake up and you open up your door, your front door. Picture yourself your front door, and you're opening up your door, and there's a shipment of your daily aloe vera, okay? Now, how many are you retailing, or how many is you and your team retailing in your group? So the delivery man comes and drops off a big pile of aloe vera, and if you're doing 10,000 cases, which means the 10K, that means that you get about 1,000 bottles in your entire team. Hold on. Yeah, how often? Per day. Per day! Per day! Isn't that amazing? Per day. 1,000 bottles every day through the network of people that you've chosen to speak to and that you inspired to speak to even more. So if you wanted to speak to someone, then I want to inspire you to talk to the next one, and you can talk to another one. And you might find a few more people that would like to join the business, and that's how we network this industry. That's how we network our product, to get more people to be inspired by it. So what all these people have done is that they have created masses of groups of people that are using our products. And it's a real proof that they are great. Not even great. Sometimes they're unbelievably good. And sometimes people oversell it. But the point is that with all the experience that Forever has over the last 40 years, of almost 10 million users every day that wake up and opening up their fridge and seeing that yellow bottle in their fridge and taking it out and say, okay, in Swedish it would be skål för hälsan. Skål, skål. If you don't know Swedish yet, this is a good word to know. Skål. Skål. I know it sounds funny. Come on. Skål. Right, bravo. So skål för hälsan. Skål för hälsan means skål for your health. So we're not drinking alcohol, obviously. We drink aloe vera. Okay? So with all the experience, there are so many people that have great results and benefits from using our products, and sometimes the stories are overwhelmingly good. But remember, don't oversell it. Don't try to push it more than it actually is, because the product will sell itself. Important to remember. So these people, I would love to share a few stories of them, but my time is ticking, so I'm going to go on. But get to know them, go online, hear their stories, attend events and listen to them, because there are some truly great people. But remember, there are also people just like you and I that started one day as an assistant supervisor, ordered a box, and got started and excited about sharing the opportunity and the products. So that's what they've done, and if you hear the stories, they're just amazing. Amazing stories and amazing people that have chosen to put on a great attitude, and yes, I will be a yes sayer, not a nay sayer. Even though a lot of people are going to say no to you. In fact, when I started, I spoke to a lot of my friends, and I had about 60 people saying no to me in the beginning. 60 people said no. Do you want to join forever? Hell no. Do you want to join forever? Do you want to try my product? Said, I have a little bit of product here. Do you want to try? And I tried all the tricks in the book, I thought. Do you want to try? Toothpaste? Aloe lips? I mean, I tried everything. They all said no to me. What was I going to do? I thought I was going to be a salesman of aloe vera, you know? Heat lotion, perhaps? But it didn't work, because I was trying to push a sale for the product, not the actual benefit or the results. So we're not salespeople in forever. We're just sharing the opportunity, and we were just enthusiastically telling our stories. And that's what these people have done. Bravo. In Dubai, there were so many people, and in fact, seeing people, you heard a little bit about the recap from our global rallies, but the emotion that I got from the last rally, being there on that beach, like Bob said, Jumeirah Beach, I think, in front of the cool hotel, the Burj Al Arab, which looks like a big sail. It's a super expensive hotel, and I can't think about how much they paid to get the banner on that building. But to be on that beach with fireworks going off and seeing hundreds, I think there were about 500 people receiving a check, and seeing the pure joy in people's eyes and feeling that I am one of them that actually achieved it. And standing there in this magical moment and realizing that it was such a milestone for so many, that it's, you know, what do you say, you get your hairs in your back, whatever. Goosebumps. It was so cool to see it. Most people, I went up and I had so many people in the team qualifying. In fact, I have now in the team, now it's quite easy because we have an app which says how many you got. And I now have in the team, I have 450, 600 managers in the downline. Yeah, that's basically everyone you're looking at is a manager. Think about that. Can you have that in your downline? Would you like? Seeing the people in the group and the ones that qualified and say, I don't care about the number, I care about being here. And putting that as a goal to achieve it, whether the number is big or small, but to be there. And you want to make sure that you qualify for next year, because it's going to be, I'm sure, a 40th birthday in home town of Rex, and I mean, it's just going to be mind-blowing. So make sure you qualify. Have a lot of fun. World leader in aloe vera. Rex invited me to come to one of his fields down in Dominican, and I got to bring a few of the other qualifiers, and we were working in the fields one day. And this guy, Julio, who's the leading the operations of in Dominican, he said, all right, so we're going to cut some leaves, and we're going to bring it in, and we're going to make our own aloe vera gel, basically. But we're going to make it into competition, so we're going to see who can pick up and to fill up a full, what do you call it, the big lorry? Truck. What do you call it? Trolley. Yeah, you see it in the picture, didn't you? Well, Not that big, but it's big enough. So we're starting to cut. And we're starting to take some of the leaves, and are getting more and more exciting. You know, you're really warm because it's super hot in the climate. And of course, a few minutes later, the back's starting to hurt. I was like, gosh, this is tough. And I was, cut, because you need to cut every leaf so you don't expose the inner gel. Because if you do, it oxidizes and it goes rotten. It goes brown, so you can't use it. So you need to cut very carefully, and then take the leaf and then put it in the, and then put in the what? Trailer. Thank you. Trailer. A proper trailer. Thank you. So we did that, and after a while, I got to speed up a little bit, back hurting, and I was like, come on, let's get the leaves up, and then leaves up. And then all of a sudden, while I'm there, this guy Julio comes up next to me, and he takes a long stick, like a cane, and he just, and smacks me in the back. I was like, honestly, I was thinking, don't you know who I am? I couldn't say it, of course, I couldn't say it. I was like, what are you doing? And he said, Magnus, quality, not quantity. Don't you see, you're picking up the leaves that are not in the best, they're not ripe yet. You should only get quality, not quantity. We want to get the right leaves. You're picking up everything, just you want to fill the trailer. I said, she's tough here in Dominican. So quality to every single last detail. They're so picky about the raw ingredients. So because the raw ingredients, if it has the highest of quality, it will deliver results. Quality results. Correct? So they want to make sure you get only the ripe leaves, and they want to make sure that you get the best stuff, because otherwise, when it goes into the process of creating, and you know the rest, the products are amazing because of that, and guys like Julio. Not too long ago, I was in a ski lift, in fact, in Verbier. Well, if you haven't been to Verbier, it's a ski resort in Switzerland. Anyway, so I'm sitting in the ski lift, and this guy sitting next to me, a gentleman, and I turned myself to him, and I said, and actually, I can't remember, I think I was on the phone, or I don't know, I said, hello, and he said, hello, what's your name? I said, my name is Magnus. Oh, right, okay, well, my name is James Bond. I said, okay, is that a joke, or is it really James Bond? And I said, well, it's actually in Swedish, Jöns Bonde. But Jöns is honestly, it sounds very silly. So his name is Jöns Bonde. And he said, so what do you do, Magnus, and what brings you to Verbier? And I said, well, I'm here skiing, obviously, but what do you do for a living? I said, well, I work with one of the greatest companies in the world, Forever Living. So really, okay, so what do they do? And I said, aloe vera, haven't you heard? And he looked at me, you know, he's a gentleman, he's posh, he thinks it's James Bond, but he's actually Swedish, has a silly name. See the picture in a ski lift. So I'm saying so he says, and his jaw just dropped. And I said, what? And he said, Magnus, you won't believe this, but my 17th great-grandfather, St. John Sinclair, was traveling with an Italian merchant in 1446 across the Atlantic. And yes, Columbus sailed a few years later. So St. John Sinclair, my great-uncle, my great 17th, sailed across to America and brought home two things. Really, what are they? Maize, it's called maize, corn. Corn and aloe vera. And I said, really, are you for real? And he said, yes. So he brought back two things, corn and aloe vera. I want to show you, come to my castle in Scotland. It's outside Edinburgh, and we have a private chapel called the Roslin Chapel. So I went to the Roslin Chapel, and it was built in 1446, and he showed me the carvings, you see in the top right, of the aloe vera inside the chapel. I was like, this is not happening. I thought Columbus sailed across the Atlantic, was the first one sailed across the Atlantic. And also I had no idea that it had such a long history, and it was just amazing. So anyway, Rosslyn Chapel. If you ever go, it's, well, I don't know really. It's Edinburgh and a bit further up. Oh, by the way, if you have read the book, The Da Vinci Code, Dan Brown. Now, I'm not a big reader, but Da Vinci Code is pretty good, and there's a movie. And in the movie, you see Fleur de Lis and Rosslyn Chapel in the movie. And it's actually been filmed in this. And that's where they have the last thing going on in the video, in the movie. And it's actually in James Bond's, James Bond's, I'm sorry. So it's very, very, very cool. Anyway, we have great products, and I can't stress enough how good these are. And I've been using them ever since my mom convinced me to drink that yellow tub. And of course, I was very negative about it, but then I realized, and seeing all the results over the years, it's just amazing. This is a Vital 5 box, 5 key products that makes a whole difference. I can't say much because I want to keep going, and I have a few more minutes, so try it. The Fit program, C9. Before and after. I mean, all right. I'm not going to get undressed. But it makes a difference, doesn't it? Yes. If you haven't tried it, get on the C9. Try the F15. I keep saying the F1 and F2, which was the previous boxes, but the F15, and get on the beginner or intermediate or advanced programs. My wife now is home with the, it's online, and you just plug it into your TV, and she's like, yeah, come on, Daddy, come on. And she just keeps doing all these exercises, and it's really tough, but it makes a difference. And when people see it in you, they believe it in you. Seeing is believing. You cannot go around, and I'm sorry, guys, you cannot go around and eating popcorn all the time. Seeing is believing. Hey, I'm not saying that you got to be no. What I'm saying is that lose a little bit and make a change. Eat less, exercise more. Because seeing is believing, and you're going to have more energy, and people are going to say, what happened to you? Well, you know what? I started to drink aloe vera, and voila. So the Fit programs are really good, and in fact, a friend of mine, he was just having dinner with us the other night, and he said, Magnus, I hate you. And I said, that's pretty strong. What's wrong, Martin? And he said, I hate you. And I said, why? Because you're my drug dealer, and now I'm so dependent on your RG+. Now, if you don't know Martin, he's still single, so he's doing a lot of RG+. Oh, God. Watch out. It's quite addictive. Okay, we care a lot about in Forever, and you heard previous speakers talk about Stop Hunger Now and all those meals that Bob was referring to, 300,000 packs at the last rally. But we put a lot of, this is all in Swedish, sorry, I didn't have time to change it, but we put a lot of effort into of helping and giving back to society in all areas. And in Scandinavia, we're doing a lot of stuff this is for children cancer, obviously, and so on, the Red Cross. So the company gives a lot back. So it's not just, money and Forever and recognition and all that, but it's a lot going on behind, and we're all contributing in one way or another, which is also one of the things that makes it feel a little bit nicer. It's nice to give back. If you have success, it's nice to give back. It's not only about you, it's about giving back also. Do you agree? Good. Okay. I was just visiting this is so crazy. This guy, that's me, obviously. Yes, it is. Yeah, there on the left. Yeah, but here on the bottom right, in a blue shirt, he's the director of Forever Direct in Holland. In Roosendaal, just south of Amsterdam, and he's now built a massive factory that can deliver all the products in no time. And I had to go and see it, and the Scandinavia's been complaining about delivery, and they've been complaining about that some of the products have been broken, and it's not in a good order. So I had to go down and see it, so sorry, I forgot your name. What's his name? Anyone know? Who's the director of Forever Direct in Holland? I'm sorry, I forgot. Mike. Hello? Oh, Martin is. Yeah, so Martin is inviting us, and he said, well, we are sorry for the delay sometimes and the mispackaging and so on, but you have to understand that we are running a big operations here, and he was bragging about his golden warehouse. You see, it's painted in gold. It's only Rex that can order a golden warehouse. But he said that we got a lot of social workers helping us out to get the operations and the packaging. And I wasn't really that familiar with social workers, and when I saw them with all their disabilities, physical and mentally, and everything that's going on in their life, and they were so happy that they got a job and they got to be part of Forever, and that they could make a difference. And Martin always pushing for, saying, look, we put a lot of pride in serving and making those packs. So every time you open up your box, you should say, oh, did someone put a little bit of love in this to packing it so it looks nice? So they are helping. They're helping a lot of people, and they are. My time is out. Go and see it. See Martin. Gotta go on. Come on. Remember, if you're starting with Forever today, and if you haven't joined yet, if you're still deciding, you can think of our head offices as your back office. Now, if you're in the front office or if you're in the back office, this is the back office in Scandinavia. This is the headquarters. It's actually a family house. It's owned by the Wallenbergs, my mother's family, and it was sold, and Rex bought it, so it's sort of in the family still. Another story. But there are more than 60 people in the Scandi, and I don't know how many, Bob, do you have? Could it be around the same, 60, 70 staff? And they're all there to help you to succeed with your business. If you think about it, you join a business, you don't have to pay anything. There's no annual charge, there's no subscription or anything. All you need to do, get yourself a little box, a small one or a big one, and you get started to use the products and share this opportunity. And you can get going, and while it's growing, the head offices are going to take care of all the back office stuff, which is great. All the accounting and ordering and IT and marketing and finance and all of that. Remember, like Bob said, Forever UK it's a gold standard. You're doing really well. And all those people are there to serve you, to help you to create a massive business if you want. So we haven't got any red Ferraris in Sweden, but if you want to pop by, let us know. First steps to manager. Scandi is truly grateful for all the work that I think a lot of the leaders in the UK, and of course John and Jane's been, and Adam's been very, very close to us in Scandi, being our sponsors and uplines. And helping us getting this literature and this training manual so that we can also copy and duplicate what's been going on here. So we're all very grateful. Thank you, Forever UK, for giving us the opportunity of sharing this material, because it made such a difference for all of us. Thank you. Make sure you get a list. That's a key factor. Make sure you put a lot of names. Keep adding to that list. Adding people to that list is a key factor of making this business. When I asked all the people joining my team, I thought I asked all my friends, so now I don't have any more to ask. And if you have that attitude, you're never going to make it. Keep talking to people. If you don't like talking to people, send them texts. Get in the manual and understand how to make contact through social media, initial contact. It's all in the book. It's brilliant. In fact, one of the guys in Stockholm at School of Economics, he looked at it, the previous version of First Steps to Manage, and I said, what do you think? I mean, it's quite a cool business, isn't it? And he said, Magnus, I'm at the LEC, the London, what's the finest school here? LSE, yeah, School of Economics, but the smaller version in Stockholm, obviously. So he said, I'm at this fine school here in Stockholm, and I said, this is for children. And I said, are you kidding? Well, come on, in the literature we read in school is so much more complicated, so much more sophisticated, it's so much blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, actually, if you use this manual, it can make a whole lot of a difference, and you can build a business from nothing to everything without having money, time, or previous experience, or coming from a fine or fine family with lots of contacts. Anyone can make it with this. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're 18 or really old. Anyone can, I'm sorry. Anyone can make it. It's so good. Coffee meetings. Jane said it really well. Old-fashioned marketing still works. It still rocks, and that's what I do. I've been doing thousands of one-to-ones or two-to-ones, presenting the opportunity over a normal little catalog, or of course nowadays we use iPads. And we just do like that. We're just sliding and keep smiling, sliding. It's great. I mean, it's quite cool, isn't it? Instead of those, like Adam showed, those old flip charts. What do you need? You need an iPad? Yes, that's all you need. Slide it, keep smiling. The only negative part of being in forever is that you have to drink a lot of coffee. In Sweden, it's a culture almost. Everyone, you want a coffee? All right, I have another coffee. I don't really want to have that many coffees, but it's sort of part of how you do business, I guess. Water, please. So you have a coffee, sit down, present the business. That's what I do. And I've been doing it over and over and over and over again. And that's why there are so many managers in the business over the years. The only difference between you and me, wherever you are in the marketing plan, is that I've done it more times. And I have inspired more people to do the same thing. Your job, get the hang on how to do it, get a good attitude, and make sure you help others to do the same. Got it? Okay, well, here are some of the girls that have a great attitude. I didn't have a good attitude in the beginning when I joined, and I must say I had to get out of my comfort zone. Some people have seen me online, and there's a stupid video from Hawaii. We had a rally in Hawaii when I was dancing behind people. I felt so silly, but it actually stretched myself so I was prepared to do a little bit more, I guess, silly things. If you feel uncomfortable, try it. Next time you won't feel as comfortable. Right. Okay, it's a person-to-person business. We do it with a big smile, and everyone keeps saying, do it with a smile. And I keep looking at some of you, and I was like, yes. And I can see in some of you're looking and you're saying, I need this. And you say, okay, you keep smiling. But if it's not true, people are not going to buy you. People buy people first. We all know that. We heard it earlier today. People buy people first. But the key ingredients, I think, is not only the smile, I think it's your eyes. Because if you want to have success in forever, if you really want to do it, it's got to come into you. You've got to learn the skills. There's so much you need to do. And I can promise you, forever will go on for a long, long, long time. And if you want to leave it to your children or your grandchildren or your great-great-grandchildren, maybe your 17th great forever will go on, but you got to have it in your eyes. So if you would like to take your rest, whatever you have in your lap, and I know this is silly, it's just to get a little bit out of your comfort zone. This is very, come on, are you with me? Yeah. All right. Oh, yes, okay. Get your two fingers, your two hands, and a couple of fingers. 1, 2. Okay, you put it next to your eyes. Careful, don't poke it. It's there. And then in Swedish we say glitter. Now, yeah, glitter. And someone came up to me and said, what does it mean, glitter? It said, well, it means sparkle, I guess. Sparkly. Sparkly, can you say that? All right. So it needs to be sparkly eyes. Aha. You need to have sparkle in your eyes. Now, if you had a camera, you would have seen it. But you need to have sparkle in your eyes. So you turn to the person sitting next to you, and you say to that person, like this, glitter. 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 Sparkly in your eyes. Put a bit of sparkle in your eyes and put glitter. Because if you have glitter in your eyes, It's going to make people want to follow you. And I can't say enough how many generations that will go, because my question to you, do you have glitter in your eyes? And who do you wake up next to? Thank you everyone for listening today, and lots of glitter. Thank you.